Hey everybody, where the hell have I been all week? I got really lazy. That's where I've been. For those of you who saw my last video, you saw me in a state of complete sleep deprivation. Haven't been up after going to a wedding the night before, and doing all sorts of other weird things. And I'm not the biggest party guy. I feel like I have to explain that. I'm not much of a partying kind of guy. If I go to a party, I'll have fun and I'll be crazy. I'll be on the dance floor doing all kinds of weird shit. But I don't have a lot of energy for it. So if I go to like one big wedding, it takes me about a week to recover because I don't have a whole lot of energy. I need to build up my strength for massive nights out and big parties and stuff like that. So basically, instead of filming the videos I wanted to film and I had a plan to film, I decided I'm going to sit on my ass and do nothing and just recover from the wedding. Even though I had nothing to do with actually planning the wedding. I wasn't in the bridal party or anything like that. It's just, I was on the dance floor a lot and I drank a lot, so I'm tired. I need some downtime. So instead of filming the videos that I said I was going to film, I decided, I'll just sit on my ass and rewatch Avatar: The Last Airbender. I got through the first 2 seasons in one night. That's how good that fucking show is. And how much time I had on my hands this week. Plus, I was going to work this week and everything, so that took a lot of time as well. Then, I sat down and watched a couple Godzilla movies because, that's what you do when you've got nothing else to do and you don't want to do anything constructive. Rewatched the Star Wars trilogy because, I've, 250,000 times isn't enough. I could watch the Star Wars trilogy almost any time because they're just that fucking good. But pushed off a lot of the videos that I thought about making or I wanted to make. I wanted to do one about TNA and the fucking mess that they're in right now. Basically, the whole Ask Dixie thing and letting Jesse Sorensen go and the perceived financial problems that they're in after going on the road. Basically, I'll sum it up by saying, they's be in trouble. And that's basically all there is to say about that. They's be in big time trouble. And they make a lot of mistakes. But I did want to touch up on something that I hear a lot about in regards to critiquing wrestling shows, particularly Monday Night Raw. And I did want to put this over on Raw. The stuff with Daniel Bryan on Raw was great and really reinforced the whole underdog aspect to his character that's so appealing. I love the whole gauntlet thing and him just being this scrappy little underdog. And because it wasn't John Cena in this, like, you put John Cena in the same situation, and I'm thinking, okay, he's going to beat everybody. But because it's Daniel Bryan and he is such an underdog, there's doubt that he could actually pull it out. But I really want him to, so it was really well done in that aspect. I really liked it. And yeah, even though it presented a whole situation where John Cena gets to play the hero again and be a leech off of another popular babyface. Because, if you ever get popular with the fans, John Cena, he'll be your best buddy. And he'll leech off of you because, if you're popular and the fans like you, then I gotta like you too. I like whatever you like. Yeah, fuck John Cena's character. It's so nice having Daniel Bryan as a viable option to root against him. Because those are John Cena's best matches, are the ones where they give us a viable babyface option to root for against him, like Rob Van Dam in the Hammerstein Ballroom at One Night Stand, like CM Punk at Money in the Bank 2011, and like Daniel Bryan here. So I think that match is going to be very good from that aspect, because I expect the crowd to be fully on Bryan's side. I would be shocked if it wasn't that way. And obviously CM Punk and Paul Heyman had another fantastic interaction. So SummerSlam looks like it's going to have 2 really strong main events and a really solid undercard, because most of the undercard has a decent amount of build-up into it and a storyline that I can get behind and I can sink my teeth into, like Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes. I didn't see SmackDown, but I read the spoilers and it sounded like the angle they did with them was really good. So I like that feud. I think The Shield has another good feud with Mark Henry and the Usos. They could possibly do something with that. Ziggler and Langston. I actually think they could possibly do Ziggler and Caitlyn versus Langston and AJ in a mixed tag, which I'd be fully okay with that. So they've got a lot of good things going on. Like, really, the only thing that really doesn't have much going on is the World Heavyweight Championship. I heard, spoiler alert, I don't know what exactly happened, but I heard that it's going to be Christian versus Del Rio, which feels very random, but Whatever. But everything else seems to have a pretty good storyline heading into SummerSlam, and it feels like a really well put together show, especially the 2 main events. Those are great. So yeah, I really wanted to put that over on Raw, but I did want to make the crux of this video, the topic of this video, about some of the critiques that I hear, typically against Monday Night Raw, sometimes against other wrestling shows, but typically these complaints are levied against Raw, and that's the use of squash matches on Raw. Like, you'll see Mark Henry go out there and kill a bitch in 2 seconds, and that'll be a match on Raw. Or for the longest time, Ryback was doing a lot of squash matches, and he would just kill a bitch and, hit the shell shock and go home. Or you even see matches like on this past Raw, you'd see matches like Dolph Ziggler versus not Damien Sandow, what's his name? The guy that's not Titus O'Neil, the guy that's nowhere near as likable. Darren Young, that's his name, okay. Darren Young. Matches like that where it's obvious that the quote-unquote star is going to win over the lesser talent, and people seem to look down on that. Now, me personally, I'm going to take the opposite view. I actually think squash matches on TV are very valuable, and even on pay-per-view once in a while, depending on whatever it is you're trying to accomplish or whatever you're trying to do. It's valuable to give certain guys squash matches and give the bigger stars like spotlight matches to make them look really good. Even though those things kind of went out of style with the Attitude Era and people kind of look down on them now. I think a lot of people see them as pointless TV filler, but personally, I think they're character builders, and I think that's the real value in them. If you have Goldberg go out there and kill 200 people, you put a lot into Goldberg as a character. It's like, wow, this guy goes out there and fucking destroys people. And hell, there were times in '98 when the Goldberg squash match was my favorite part of the show, as far as WCW was concerned. Because it was, not only was it cool to see him kill people, but the matches, he would actually throw different moves out there. So it was actually building him as this really interesting physical force to go up against, because how do you prepare for a guy that's this steamroller and throws different moves out there? You can't prepare for him. And I thought it really painted Goldberg as this dangerous and powerful and dominant athlete. Matches like the ones you see with Mark Henry and Ryback, where they just go out there and kill people in a minute, it makes them look like dangerous monsters. And although I did criticize the Ryback squash matches for being repetitive, I mean, most of the matches he had before they started pushing him against Punk were very repetitive. It was like, okay, I can set my watch to it. It's all the same spots over and over again. It was still valuable in making Ryback look like a monster, and even if it did come across like a Goldberg ripoff, they still got that point across that Ryback is dominant, he's a monster, and he can kill people. TNA, when they were building Monty Brown up initially, they had a star on the rise there. They did it largely through squash matches, and it really helped get him over as this dominant monster. Ultimately, TNA fucked him over, but that's another story for another time. And I think matches like that are very valuable for building guys up as monsters, where they just go up there and kill bitches. And I think that really works in establishing them as monsters. Part of the problem with Big Show is that so many of his matches, he's even Steven with the guys that he works with, and he doesn't get over as a monster, and they never dedicate themselves to him being a monster, and that's always been kind of a problem with him. Is that he doesn't get those squash matches a lot of the times. He just gets, They have him beat up John Cena on TV, and then Cena beats him at the pay-per-view. It's like, oh, well, he's still a monster. I'm like, yeah, no, he's really not. No, he's not. And so I think there's value in giving guys those type of matches to build them up long-term. And even if you just want to build somebody into a title contender, give them a bunch of easy wins on TV to kind of give them momentum and give them a winning streak and give them things like that. The Dolph Ziggler-Darren Young match that I just mentioned. To me, it's valuable to give somebody like Ziggler a match against a nobody, or perceived nobody in Darren Young, who's not that high on the totem pole, because it demonstrates there's this severe gap in ability and talent and momentum between guys like Dolph Ziggler and guys like Darren Young. And that's another point I kind of want to make. And not only do these matches get characters over, they get moves over. That's problem... part of the problem with Curtis Axel is that he keeps doing the perfect plex, and he never beats anybody with it. So it's like, why does he even do the move if he never wins with it? It feels like he just does the move just to get a pop, and it doesn't really get the move over or anything. It's just, oh, hey, his dad did that move. I know what that is. And it doesn't really have much substance other than that. And it's like, shouldn't he be beating people with the perfect plex? I'm just throwing ideas out there. But I think giving Curtis Axel those type of matches would actually help get the perfect Plex over and get his character over a little bit more. But another reason to do it, in addition to making people look like monsters and building characters, building momentum, getting moves over, is that I think it demonstrates an important aspect that sports leagues should have, and that is a hierarchy of success. I think, and again, I keep going back to football because football is my lady. That's my favorite sport. What makes the New England Patriots and Tom Brady so perceived as being this great team with so much talent is that they win all the fucking time. You can count on them being no worse than 12-4, and at best, like 14-2, 15-1, and even 16-0, which they did once under the Brady regime. That's where their greatness is perceived, the fact that they win all the fucking time. But for that to look even better, you have to have your loser teams. You got to have your Cleveland Browns. For them to beat up on and to rack up 40 or 50 points on, because if you have really shitty teams, it makes the success of better teams look even better. For the system to work, there has to be a potential for failure. There has to be a potential for being the ultimate loser. The Barry Horowitz syndrome, where guys just lose all the fucking time. You need your losers. You need your Cleveland Browns, your Buffalo Bills. I'm sorry to beat up on those teams, but it's so easy. So that the stronger teams, who the success stories are. You know who the powerful juggernauts are in the league. And, if wrestling worked in a way where it was like a roster of 15 guys and you kept them all at kind of this same level across the board, and you cycled the title around those 15 guys, well, it wouldn't really mean all that much because everybody kind of evens out and nobody really has that much success over the other. It just doesn't mean as much. You need your ultimate failures. That's why guys like, the Brooklyn Brawler and Barry Horowitz were so valuable. You could, throw them up there, get their asses kicked, and be done with it. Zack Ryder, that's basically his job now. He's basically out there to just lose and get squashed and make the stars look really, really good. There is a valuable place for stars like that. And, I mean, let's be honest, nobody perceives Zack Ryder as being, like, a star on the rise or a future main eventer. Even those that when he got over and people loved it, was like, do you really see that guy being world champion? I mean, come on. Coco Beware. I don't think I ever saw Coco Beware win a match. Not a singles match, anyway. When he tagged with Owen, he won a little bit more. But he was just there to... he got over because he was flashy and colorful, had the song, had the pet bird, but in the end, he would just get his ass kicked. And make the stars look really good. Actually, he was the first guy The Undertaker ever hit the tombstone on and pinned. That was at Survivor Series 1990. He made The Undertaker look dominant and look like a star. And I think you need that discrepancy between the ultimate losers and the high winners, so that way it makes getting to that ultimate high level seem harder to do and more important. That's part of my problem with having 2 world titles, It doesn't seem like it's this ultimate prize that is so hard to win now because, well, I mean, if there are 2 of them, then it's twice as easy to win one and you get double the opportunities and it doesn't mean as much. And even though the world title is not on the level of the WWE title, because just based on the way they present it, you still have another guy running around in the company claiming to be world heavyweight champion, and it's a controversy that never gets addressed for whatever reason. They really need to unify those fucking belts. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep crying that they do that until they actually do it. But so basically, I see no problem with squash matches on TV, especially on a show that's 3 hours long. You got the time to fill anyway. And if you want to make people look strong, you want to have contenders built up through a string of victories and momentum, growing momentum through that string of victories. And you want to get characters over. You want to create monsters. You want to get moves over. And you want to make it look like there's a clear hierarchy and ranking in the roster. I think squash matches are very valuable, and I fully support the WWE doing it. For all the problems I've had with wrestling programming in the last few years, squash matches don't bother me. Unless they're trying to push a guy that I don't like when TNA was having Rob Terry squash people. It's like, okay, seriously, does anybody see a future in this guy? It didn't bother me that they were doing squash matches. It bothered me that Rob Terry was getting pushed. It's like, come on, really? Mason Ryan goes out there and kills people. I'm going to roll my eyes because it's like, really, this guy, really, this is who we're going to run with? First of all, if Rob Terry and Mason Ryan are not on steroids, then fuck, I need to go to their gym because I don't know what the fuck they do. I need to know what their regimen is because, fuck it, I'm pretty sure if they pissed into a cup for a drug test, their piss would melt through the cup. It's just, they're on something. I mean, come on. Give me a fucking break. But yeah, that's basically all I got. I just wanted to address those criticisms of the people that say that squash matches are pointless and squash matches don't belong on TV or anything like that. I disagree. I think there is a value to doing them, and I do enjoy, just to do one out there and see. It's like, oh, well, let's see who they're trying to push and see if this character can get over and see what this character does. And then, if you build up two monsters with a string of squash matches, and then you have the two monsters fight each other, big match, right? I mean, it's just, to me, there's no reason not to do it. And I know we live in this age where ratings are important, and, people, they'll see a squash match, and they'll be like, oh, time to change the channel because this isn't that important. But I think, you should have long-term goals in mind over short-term. And, if you might lose a few viewers in a segment for a squash match, but down the road you could potentially build bigger matches. So I think in the long run, I think it's a better idea to do those squash matches. But that's just me. Yeah, that's all I've got for now. Sorry, it took me a week to get this one out there. I originally planned on doing this Monday or Tuesday, but I'll have more videos coming up, especially as we head closer to SummerSlam, because like I said, it looks like SummerSlam's going to be really, really good. So that's all I have for now. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and peace out.